What is going on, my friends? This is Matt with PEScience, and today we are making high protein soft pretzel bites, and to go with that we're going to make a high protein cheese dip. Now this is all thanks to the PEScience Select multi-purpose protein. It's so versatile that we can use it in the pretzels and we could also use it in the cheese dip, and you won't taste it in either. Now as we go through this recipe, you can make it as a regular full-size pretzel, but honestly pretzel bites are a lot easier to make and more fun to eat. Let's do it. We're gonna get a large bowl, and to kick things off, we're gonna start with some self-rising flour. Self-rising flour, it's just all-purpose flour mixed with baking powder and some salt, so you can make your own. It's way easier to buy it, but if you have to make your own at home, super easy to do. Then we're gonna add 1 scoop of the PEScience Select multi-purpose protein powder into there. Then just a little bit of salt to go along with that, because more salt is better when it comes to pretzels. Give this a very quick mix just to make sure that the protein powder and the flour is fully mixed. Now we're gonna add some plain non-fat Greek yogurt into that and mix it all up until it becomes a dough. Now with some recipes, you wanna be careful to not over-mix. This is not one of those recipes. You can get in there, knead the dough, make sure it all comes together. We want this to be able to be formed into a rope. So you want to be able to roll it, so make sure that everything is fully mixed. All right, now we got our ball of dough. It's going to be a little bit sticky, that's just the nature of protein powder. So we're going to use a little extra flour to help us form it. Don't worry about any extra calories or anything like that. It's a real small amount. A little goes a long way when forming this though. I'm going to take a little bit of extra flour and flour my surface here, so that way I can form the pretzel rope. I like to coat both sides just to make this easy. You can roll this however you want. I kind of just start in my hands and get it going, and then you can put it down to roll it. The exact size you make is totally up to you. It also depends on how many pretzel bites you want to make. I tend to make 12 whenever I do this recipe, but it's always going to depend on how thick the rope is, so it might vary a little bit, which is totally fine. All right, that should be good. Gonna see if we get 12. We'll see how good I am. We might get more. We're gonna find out. So here we go. We're just gonna slice these. You can make them as long as you want. We want these to be little bites, so not too big. When you cut them, if they flatten and look a little bit marshmallowy, you can shape them a little bit. Marshmallows are great, so no one's gonna complain. But if you wanna shape them so they're a little bit more pretzel nugget-esque, you can do that. Now, if we were to throw these in the oven as is, they would end up being kind of like bagel bites. So to make these actual pretzels, what we have to do is something called a baking soda bath. All it is really hot water, boiling or microwaved, however you want to get it really hot, mixed with some baking soda. Let these float in there for about 30 seconds and then transfer to a baking sheet. The acidity in the baking soda is what's going to turn these into that iconic pretzel flavor and give them that nice brown color that we're after. So I have a bowl of hot water here and some baking soda, and I'm going to mix that in. Now you're going to want to use a spoon or a spatula with slots in it, so that way you can dip the spoon in, grab the pretzels out without a ton of water. I'm going to have my baking sheet ready, and I'm going to transfer the pretzels right over there when they're ready. So I'm just going to start one at a time for demonstration purposes. You can do multiple once you get the hang of it. You're going to put one on the spoon, put it into the water, and let it float there. The exact time does not matter. About 30 seconds or so, you're just going to let it float, and then you're going to transfer it over. And now we're going to take some softened or melted butter, brush the tops of them, and then sprinkle some coarse salt on top. You can do coarse sea salt or pretzel salt, whichever one you have available to you, but that's really what's going to give it that pretzel flavor that we're after. You can skip the butter if you really need to, but if you want your house to smell like you're walking through a mall past the pretzel place, the butter is going to do that for you, and that buttery flavor is going to make these so delicious. It really takes these over the top. I recommend you don't skip it, but if you have to, you can. And then I have my coarse salt here. I'm going to sprinkle that over the top as much as you want, but you can never have too much. I've got the oven preheated to 450 degrees. We're gonna bake these for 12 minutes, and while these are in the oven, we're gonna mix up the high protein cheese sauce. Now to start the high protein cheese sauce, we're gonna start with a base of queso, and then we're gonna add some shredded cheese to it. I go with mozzarella. I like a light mozzarella. It melts really well. You can use cheddar or any cheese that you really like. I just prefer the taste and the texture of mozzarella. And we're gonna add in a little bit of unsweetened almond milk. You can use skim or any milk that you prefer. We're gonna mix this up, throw this in the microwave for about 2 minutes, and I'm gonna stop every 30 seconds to give it a mix until it's nice and smooth. We've got this cheese microwave down and nice and smooth. You just want to microwave it so all of that mozzarella cheese is nice and melty in there. And then we are going to add in a little bit of cheddar powder. That gives it a little extra flavor. This one can be skipped. I really like the extra flavor that it gives it, but if you don't have it available to you, you definitely don't have to use it. So what we're actually gonna do is add in 1 scoop of the PEScience Select multi-purpose protein. It's gonna thicken up the sauce a little bit and bump up the protein. So I like to add about half if I can, and then mix that in and then add the other half just to make mixing it a little bit easier because protein powder is a little bit thick. And you'll know the cheese is ready to go when you can do that. Now we wait for the pretzels to come out of the oven and then we're ready to go. And now while these are still warm, because butter makes everything better, I like to baste a little bit of melted butter right on the top. It makes the smell unbelievable. Do not skip the step. And all you need is a tiny bit on each. It will absorb right into each pretzel bite and it will elevate these flavors to unbelievable heights. Now that butter is gonna sit for about a minute. It's gonna absorb in and then you're ready to go with our protein cheese sauce. You can dip these pretzels right in. I'm just gonna be right here when you need me. There is a crunch on the outside and the inside is so light and airy, and that cheese is so good, so good. And if you like this recipe, you want more recipes like this, I actually put together a recipe book exclusive for this protein powder. Amazing recipes just like this one. You can get it on PEScience.com, bundle it with this protein powder. You will not regret it. It's so good. I can tell you firsthand because I made it and I tried every single recipe. I promise it will not disappoint. Thank you for watching this video. I'll see you next time.